And it's looking like, to fill a budget gap, Chicago is planning to lay off hundreds of teachers. Hundreds of teachers.
Chicago Public Schools is facing a painful math problem. They've got a $732 million budget gap, and now leaders are proposing some major staff cuts, more than 700 teachers and more than 800 paraprofessionals. NBC5's Randy Gyllenhaal live tonight at CPS headquarters with what this could mean for students when classes start back up in the fall. Randy?
Well, Stefan, as you mentioned, Chicago Public Schools working to close that massive budget deficit. They additionally have billions of dollars in long-term debt as well. However, the teachers union here in Chicago is calling the layoffs reckless.
Every impact hurts. These are real people.
In a virtual presentation announcing the cut-down budget, Chicago Public Schools said more than 1,000 teachers and staff will not be brought back in the coming year.
This process is painful for everyone all the way around.
School CEO Dr. Macklin King said cost-cutting is underway, freezes and efficiencies, plus 5 furlough days added for teachers. By the numbers, it's nearly a $10 billion budget, but CPS is $9 billion in debt. This budget adds no new debt, but 760 teachers would be laid off and about 800 paraprofessionals. Some of them could be brought back.
We anticipate that the majority of these teachers and ESP, education support personnel, will be rehired in the district, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that that happens.
But the Chicago Teachers Union, in a letter to the district, calling the budget dead on arrival, though some teachers already got notice.
I've seen people starting to post already that they've lost their positions. I've seen quite a few special education teachers.
Talking about college and career coaches, just today I heard of a dance teacher on the west side who was let go.
CTU says they want state lawmakers to step in Springfield with more funding to avert drastic cuts.
It's a tragic situation where we're living in, when the teachers, especially special needs teachers, can't get the support that they obviously need. The school is the birthplace and the ground level that the children need to grow up into good and law-abiding citizens. At least that's my opinion. But it seems like the schools are the first ones to get cut when there's a budget problem. It's a tragic scene, but they said 1,000 teachers and different staffing. The main people that's going to affect is the children. But let's keep going into it.
We know that there's been talk about special sessions for data centers, for sports teams. I think it's time for the biggest mega project to be fully funding our schools, fully supporting our school communities.
Well, the next step here, the budget will go through some public hearings with a vote possible in front of the school board July 30th. Stefan?
Randy Gyllenhaal in the loop tonight.
Now, it's a tragic scene. Let's get over into this next video and see what else it tells us.
Mark, CPS has an almost $1 billion budget hole to fill, and besides layoffs, furloughs, a spending freeze, and more tax increment financing money, known as TIFs, is how the district plans to balance its budget.
Locked up for now, but in about a month, students will return to over 600 Chicago public schools with possibly less staff. To close a $732 million budget deficit, the district is laying off about 760 teachers, 801 teacher aides, and requiring 5 furlough days on non-attendance days for students. The Chicago Teachers Union called the CPS budget proposal dead on arrival.
What I can say is that this process is painful for everyone all the way around. And I understand how people, especially CTU with, their members being impacted, might feel that way.
CPS CEO Dr. Macklin King says if CPS receives additional money from the city, state, or federal government, furloughs will be restored.
But we would want to prioritize the furlough days, but have to leave flexibility.
And the layoffs are due partly to CPS reducing its student-to-teacher ratio by 1. The rest are principals' discretion based on shifting needs of their schools.
A lot of these are like local personnel decisions And they're driven by programmatic need. They're driven by enrollment at the school. If the school doesn't need, 3 fourth grade classrooms, they only need 2.
CPS says many of the laid off teachers will likely be rehired, something CTU disputes.
Unfortunately, when our teachers are laid off, a lot of them leave our district because people need job security. And not having that job security instability causes them to leave the profession.
The budget also calls for a mid-year spending freeze, no funding for assistant principals at schools with enrollment under 250 students, and 162 layoffs at the district central office, which were made public earlier this week. But the budget is not all about cuts. CPS plans to increase funding for bilingual and special education educators.
The budget that we have presented is one that does its absolute best to address the very diverse needs of our students. And so we center this budget around the students and the needs that they have in this given moment.
I don't understand, because how can you say this is for the students when at the end of the day, the less teachers, that means that there's going to be more students per teacher. And when that situation happens, some students feel like that they don't get all the attention and guidance they need. Will this make for lower test scores? Will this make for lower advancements? We'll have to wait and see. Let's see if one more video, see what else it tells us. No. Let's go over into the AI breakdown, y'all. We watched all the videos we need to. Let's get over into this one more video. This AI. See, I'm getting tossed and turning my words. See, that's why I can't take a day off. But let's get over into this AI breakdown, y'all, and see what else we can find out. So as we know, we got the Chicago Public Schools, or CPS, has proposed eliminating over 1,700 positions and implementing multi-tiered budget cuts to close the $732 million deficit. The cost-saving measures target personnel across all levels of the district. We got 760 teachers, 800 teacher aides, 162 central office and citywide employees, and then 120 assistant principal positions. So beyond the direct layoffs, CPS and the district leaders announced further emergency measures to balance the budget. 5 unpaid furlough days. So I was a little iffy about that. So we got for the staff during the students' non-attendance days, such as professional development or report card pickups, which will save the district roughly $85 million. So basically you have to work on that day and you're not going to get paid. We got to call it how it is. And then we got a mid-year spending freeze, which is scheduled to take effect in January 2027. And then we got a reduction in the student to teacher ratio. Of course, the Chicago's teacher union has fiercely opposed the plan, labeling the budget as dead on arrival, what they talked about, and noting that the 5 furlough days amount to an effective 2.3% pay cut for educators, while CPS officials stated that they hope to rehire many laid off school staff into roughly 700 current vacant positions. The union is actively demanding that state lawmakers intervene with emergency funding to alleviate the cuts. One teacher made a good statement basically saying that teachers are going to leave. And some of them have already left. If they've already been fired, they're not going to wait around in the district when they don't feel like they have job security. That's the biggest thing that a lot of people need, especially in times like this, is job security. You would think, at least it used to be when I was growing up, that teachers' jobs was that was the ultimate security. You wasn't getting paid enough, of course, but you always had a job. But now, times is getting hard. First of all, they don't make enough. And now they got to work for free in some of these cases. But let me know your thoughts, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. We will keep up with this to see what else happens. But I feel bad for the teachers in Chicago. Let's pivot now until we got into that. Now we got to get into some heavy stuff. Because do you know the world is a cold place? But this is why we got to review this stuff together, y'all.